uh, late uh, last of the year in 1968. We hit a storm out in the Atlantic. It was a bad one. Uh, it was so bad that the destroyers, our fleet that protect us, had to draw in to the point where we could look over the railing, and they were right there. So 500 feet out, it was there. The waves was bad enough that when we dipped, the waves hit the front of it would hit the superstructure. So the waves would dip down and would cover half of the ship. That's crazy. And me, they lock all the watertight hatches going outside everywhere, and everybody was forbidden to go out because if a wave hits you there, you're gone. And they would not know it till next time they did roll call. So you'd be gone. They might try to find your life jacket or something, but if you have one on. But young and dumb me, I slipped upstairs and undid one of the watertight hatches and slipped outside, shut it, locked it back up so everybody'd be safe. And it was rough out there, and I slipped down and wrapped my legs around the pole of the side of the rails where they're just wire hanging. And I took my belt off and tied it around it and tied me to the wall or to the post so I wouldn't be thrown overboard. And I sat there and watched the storm. My name is Arnold Howard. I was E6 when I got out of service. And I got out in 1969 with a 10% disability. It was scary. I mean, you had no idea what was coming around except for what you've heard on the street. But we got all our supplies, our uniforms, and then they had us go to the barber shop and they asked us, how do you want your hair cut? Do you want it cut or trimmed? And everybody said trimmed. Well, that ain't happening. It looked like a bunch of onions. Great Lakes, yep. And it was 11 weeks, and I was in company 942. It was a specialty company. Half of us was the drill team, half of us was the RPOCs, the one who stood in front of companies with the saber to call commands out to them during graduation and parades. Well, we was taught how to navigate, how to read maps, how to on water, what to look for, all that. They trained you pretty much on just the basics because once you left boot camp, whatever field you going into, that's when you went to school afterwards to learn Pacifics. When I got out boot camp, I was a firefighter, rescue assistance, and a ship fitter, metalsmith. They told us how put out fires on the ship. Water, you'd be electrocuted trying to fight a fire. So it had to be mostly foam. And they told us how to shore up, like if they hit something or another ship hit us or a torpedo, whatever. They taught us how to patch that up so they don't sink. That's where my ship fitter metalsmith came in, to shore up the bulkheads. I went to Spain, Barcelona, Spain first. And my ship that I was assigned to is the USS Franklin D Roosevelt, CVA-42 attack aircraft carrier. It had already pulled out, left, so they put me on a little military cargo plane and flew me over to Athens, Greece, where they were going to go by next, and I could catch them there. So I spent 2 days in transit in Greece, waiting on the ship. And then when they docked, I called up. It was huge. It was 1,000 feet long, with all the planes and everything, and there's 3,000 men. From the water line to the flight deck was 75 feet. And it was 1,000 feet long, as I said. So it was big, bigger than anything I'd ever seen. So yeah, it was scary. I had the pleasure of one of the flight deck crew, yellow shirt. He and I were friends, and one day I was off duty, so he slipped me a yellow vest, and I went up on the flight deck and watched them take it off. And, those people are absolutely crazy up there. There was a plane coming in to land, and when it caught the wire from the tail hook to stop it, when it flopped down, the front wheel broke, and it hit the flight deck and started skidding, and it started fire started going. While it was skidding and still moving, probably 20, 30 miles an hour or more down the flight deck, men were running out and jumping on the plane while it was still moving, and got up there and got that canopy open and got that pilot out. Those were fantastic people up there. Fantastic. They had no fear of that plane. They jumped on it while it's moving. It's crazy. And rescue and assistance, we were called out. We had to steam all night, full speed, to get to this destroyer. Than they thought, and it shoved them up on the reef and tore out most of the bottom of the ship. So it sunk on the reef. The deck that you walked on was about that far from the water, and everything underneath, inside, but are the berthing units, all the shops, the mess hall, offices, everything was pretty much underwater. They had to send in a special dive team to go in, get all the secret documents and the money, because we were paid cash then. So they had to go in and remove everything before we was allowed to go on the ship. Then our crew was brought on board, and we took everything that wasn't nailed down. If it wasn't welded, it went off. And then they gave it to the island to salvage.
You hurt your back.
Yeah, and they wanted to during work. And so the doctor said, one of them, he was sent back from Nam. He was a surgeon there, and an artillery round hit, and shrapnel went through his thumb, and they wouldn't allow him to operate over there anymore. So he was sent back to the States. And that made me real nervous. If he wasn't allowed to operate over there, why would I want him to operate over here? Especially on my spine. And the other doctor that was going to do it, he said, you don't have to do it. The other doctor was threatening to court-martial me if I didn't do it. He told me he could do it with a pair of pliers. And so the other doctor said, not necessary. You don't have to get out, or you don't have to do it. You can get out. So I called my wife and I said, what do you want me to do? And she said, we agreed, get out. So they gave me 10% disability and I got out. That was in '69.